The Design Mania this year with Making Soap magazine had 4 techniques, and one of them was the Luna Swirl. It's also going to be the Soap Challenge Club August challenge design, so I will be doing another video that is not a voiceover where I actually talk and explain as I do. But for this, I figured I'd give you kind of a brief explanation of what I was doing as you watch. So I really love this design. I ended up creating 10 different soaps, playing around, experimenting with a whole bunch of different color options, pour options. What I am doing here is kind of the traditional technique where you take typically 4 colors. You can use more, you could probably get away with less depending on your design and your colors. But you take 4 and you basically create an ombre, and you're doing layers of ombre. So you're going back and forth between colors. You can see here how I'm adding an accent color. So I'm adding this dark pink, and then I'm going to take my light pink and start adding the dark pink into that. So I'm basically just kind of creating a little bit of a definition between that first ombre I poured before I start the next ombre. You don't have to do this, you can do this. This design is just so full of options and things that you can do. It's really quite fun. But what you can see here is that I poured, I don't know, maybe it was about 1/4 of the mold, maybe not even, of that black to teal. Then I poured that accent layer of the dark pink, and now I'm doing a light pink to a dark pink ombre. And I am just going to take those 4 colors I started with, dark pink, light pink, teal, and black, and create ombres and just keep pouring. And I'm going to do multiple layers in multiple color variations. Then when you get to the end, you're going to swirl. So you see I just finished that layer, which that was not a whole lot of soap. Now I'm adding the teal, and now I'm going to kind of reverse. So I am going to do dark pink and go from dark pink to light pink, where I did the reverse other time. And then I think the next one I do is maybe black to teal or teal to black. We'll see. But that's all I do. I just keep creating ombres, and it's kind of as simple as that. I know simple is not the right word because there's definitely a little bit of learning curve to this, but that is the gist of what you are doing for pouring. The swirl, again, we'll get to that in a moment, is the second part of the Luna Swirl technique. Obviously swirls in there, we got to get some type of swirl. But yeah, so I'll let you kind of watch the rest of this, and then I will slow it down when I do the swirling so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And then I want to show you a second version where I don't go back and forth with all these different layers of colors, but I choose basically 3 colors and I create ombres layered on top of each other of just those 3. Both techniques create beautiful swirls and beautiful soaps. But yeah, so you saw I added the black, and then I started with the teal, and now I'm slowly adding black into the teal. So you get the gist. I'm basically just creating layers of an ombre and just doing that until I use up all my soap. Now, you could probably get technical and figure out exactly how much of each soap you're going to, amount of each color, of each blend, of each layer that you're going to use, but I didn't do that. I just said, okay, these are the colors I'm going to use, and then I just started kind of creating ombres as whatever floated my boat. It's like, okay, let's do this color combo. And okay, we just did pink. Okay, I'm going to do green. And I'm going to do black to pink or whatnot. You know, I just played with it. So anyways, enjoy the rest of this, and I'll be back for the cut and the second version. So I'm almost done pouring, and I slowed down the video for the swirling so you could kind of see in super slow motion what I was doing. There's no right way or wrong way to swirl. You're basically going to go up and down, back and forth, and the goal is to really just pull the colors into each other. So you can see here I kind of did almost a circular down, over, up, and I repeated that a couple times, and then I do a kind of a down and across, and then a down and across. What I did find is that it's easier to underswirl, harder to overswirl, and to make sure that you don't just do horizontal, but you get that vertical motion in there too. That's really important to create good swirls. Trying to kind of mimic this color theme, so these two and kind of like these two, kind of a mix between that, but I didn't get this dark enough. I also swirled completely different, and I really like the swirl. Like, I do wish I had gotten that kind of pink coral darker, but I still think it got pretty results. It's not as, I don't know, distinct, I guess, between the colors. So it's because these two colors are similar and these colors are similar, it's not as bold or intense, I guess, in the color scheme. They are all more kind of, I guess, work together, mutes a little bit, but I still think it's pretty. And I'm really glad that I've been playing with swirling, and I think giving it more across, like trying to make sure I go fully across and not just partially across, made a difference. And I really just like, it looks like a heart. I just think like these gradients, they're super fine. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but they're really just super, like the ombres are really good ombres in color transition. So I'm really happy with this because I thought this was going to be too fluid and I was afraid I had muddied stuff, but it's not. It's really cool. Like I said, the colors are not as bold, but I really like this. I want to try. So on Instagram I asked people to vote on 4 different images for, and this was one, so that was this attempt at a color theme, and this was the other that everyone voted on. So I might try this. I also found another color scheme that is, they're not distinct colors, it's kind of an ombre of colors, but I think could potentially be really cool, so I might try that. We'll see how time goes. But yeah, I think, oh my gosh, I really like these. I'm surprised. Let me know what you think. this is the second kind of technique or style that you can do the Luna Swirl in. I call this a 3-layer. So what I did is I picked 3 colors and I created an ombre with each of those 3 colors. So the first one I did was dark blue, navy blue, and blue. So almost black, not quite black, but a really dark navy blue. And you can see I split my batch into a third. So I took a third of the batch, and I started with the navy blue, and I am slowly adding the blue into the soap. That's going to create a subtle blue gradient or ombre. So that's the first layer that I did. I'm going to go ahead and just pour all of this into the mold. Now I am pouring the second layer, and I decided to do a yellow to white for the middle layer. I wanted something that really contrasted, and I went with my fluorescent yellow. There's only a tad in there, and there's actually a fair amount of titanium dioxide mixed with that yellow. And then I'm adding white to it, so it looks bold, but it does lighten up a bit. And it gelled a bit, so you get some glycerin rivers in this. Next time I'd probably try and not let it gel. There's just a lot of titanium dioxide, so I knew glycerin rivers would probably happen. That said, I still love the soap. I think it's gorgeous, and the color combination is it just speaks to me. I really kind of want to try this color combo again with some other type design. Anyway, I'm just gonna continue this ombre, so adding a little bit of white and pour until I run out. And the final color is plum. Oh, I just adore this. It's like I said, it was just the color combination that I think worked so well. You had this dark navy, and then you went to a light yellow, and then back to this dark plum, and the 3 colors just work. So you can see I am pouring my third and final layer here. And again, I just split my batter up into thirds. And then for the color combinations, the base color, I usually start with a little bit less, and then the color I'm adding into that color, I have a little bit more. You can play with that combos. I generally do probably a 30-70 split, maybe 40-60, just depends on the colors. But again, just do your ombre pour. That's what you're doing here. And once you complete the ombre, then it comes time to swirl. And here is the swirl in slow motion. You'll see I do a lot of down, slide the hanger tool over just a tad, and then up, and then back down and back up. I really wanted to break the top through to the bottom through to the top, since there's just 3 layers. And then at the end, I do a lot more across horizontal swirls. I think it was really effective and worked well, that swirl pattern. Okay, so the outside, the blue ombre, I'm curious to see what type of definition I get, because right now it's very subtle. But yeah, I am super curious to see how this one actually turned out, and if the colors work together. Those darn glycerin rivers. I knew, I was on the fence, should I insulate this or not. This plum ombre, I did a dark plum where I mixed some black into it to the light. It's very subtle. I don't know if it shows up. And the blue, I actually really like that. That turned out better than I thought. And the swirls are really cool. Like, I'm a little annoyed with the glycerin rivers, just because I think it messes with the effect I was going for. I lose that white, instead it becomes kind of that clear, but otherwise, that's a cool looking soap. I like it. I'm tempted to try this again at some point, but not insulate it. I was afraid about the yellow, but I think it all works together. I am really happy. This is a surprise. I was really unsure. I just knew I wanted to try this color combo, but as I was pouring it, I didn't think I was getting the definition, like enough of the ombre that I wanted. But it's cool. I'm happy with this. I love how these pull in. So yeah, this Luna Swirl, I basically, instead of doing lots of multiple different changes in colors and patterns, I did just 3 ombres. Black, blue to green, or I'm sorry, black, blue to blue, the yellow to white, and the dark plum to plum. And swirled it that way. And I like this way too. Like, they all give interesting results. And the bars are all different. Like, I like it. I'm happy with this one. Excited. I want to try this kind of same idea with 3 patterns. With 2 other color schemes. So I have all these soaps that I don't need to make that I've been making playing around with this technique, but that's okay. They'll sell, and I really am having fun with this. Like, I haven't had this much fun in a long time, so there you have it.